There is a kind of silence that is not empty. It is not avoidance. It is not disconnection from life. It is relief. Most people think silence means stopping everything, but real silence is not about stopping the world. It is about stopping the internal pressure to respond to everything. Modern life trains the mind to stay alert, to anticipate, to react, to stay mentally available at all times. At first, this feels like responsibility, like productivity, like control. But over time, it becomes exhaustion. A mind that never rests does not become sharper. It becomes overloaded. And an overloaded mind loses clarity. This video is not about fixing your thoughts. It is not about forcing calm. And it is not about controlling your mind. It is about giving your nervous system something it rarely receives: space. Silence does not come from effort. It appears when effort stops. Most mental fatigue does not come from problems themselves, but from the way the mind stays involved with everything. Every message feels urgent. Every thought feels important. Every emotion feels like it needs immediate action. And slowly, without realizing it, the nervous system stays in a constant low-level alert. You may not feel panic. You may not feel obvious anxiety, but you feel restless, mentally busy, unable to fully relax even when nothing is wrong. This is not a personal failure. It is a biological response to overstimulation. The mind was never designed to process endless input without pause. Silence is not the absence of thought. It is the absence of compulsion. There is a difference between having thoughts and being pulled by them. When you stop reacting immediately, a small gap appears, a space between stimulus and response, between thought and action. That space is not emptiness. It is intelligence. Clarity does not come from thinking more. It comes from interfering less. Many people believe they need to analyze everything to feel safe. But analysis without rest creates confusion, not understanding. Too many inputs, too many interpretations, too many internal conversations competing for attention. Silence allows the system to reorganize itself naturally, not by force, by settling. When the mind slows down, priorities rearrange on their own. What truly matters becomes clear. What does not matter loses its emotional charge. This is not spiritual language. It is how the nervous system works. A regulated system sees more accurately. If it feels comfortable, notice your breathing now. No technique, no correction, just awareness. Notice the inhale and the exhale. The mind may still be active. That is normal. Silence is not the absence of mental activity. It is the absence of conflict with it. Now notice your body. Is there tension being held unnecessarily? In the shoulders, in the jaw, in the chest. You do not need to change anything. Noticing is enough. Inner space begins the moment you stop pushing. This is what real rest feels like. Not distraction, not numbness, but a quiet alertness where nothing is demanded from you. In this space, the mind stops defending itself, stops justifying, stops rehearsing imaginary futures. And when that happens, clarity emerges without effort. You begin to respond instead of react. You choose instead of defaulting. You conserve energy. Silence removes excess. It does not remove strength. What many people do not realize is that silence keeps working after the pause ends. When you create moments of stillness regularly, the mind learns a new rhythm. You notice mental noise earlier. You disengage faster. You no longer believe every thought that appears. The mind becomes quieter, not because life is easier, but because you stop feeding unnecessary tension. Silence becomes an internal reference point, a place you return to even while life continues. This is not withdrawal from the world. It is stability within it. Decisions feel clearer. Emotions feel lighter. Your attention becomes more intentional. If your mind had been busy, restless, or overloaded lately, remember this. Nothing is wrong with you. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply overstimulated. And what you need is not more effort. It is less noise. Let this video be a pause, a soft reset, a moment where nothing is required of you. Stay here a few seconds longer before moving on. Notice how your mind feels now compared to the beginning. If it feels right, share in the comments. What has been taking up too much space in your mind lately? Not to analyze it, just to acknowledge it. Awareness creates space, and space allows clarity to return. What often goes unnoticed is how silence changes the way you move through ordinary moments. When the mind has space, you stop rushing conversations. You stop answering before listening. You stop filling every gap with explanation or defense. Silence brings discernment. It allows you to feel when something deserves your energy and when it does not. This is especially important in a world that rewards constant reaction, opinions, notifications, urgency, noise. When everything competes for your attention, silence becomes an act of intelligence. From this inner stillness, your choices become simpler, not easier, simpler. You stop overthinking what does not belong to you. You stop carrying emotional weight that was never yours to hold. Silence teaches you restraint, not repression, restraint. You begin to speak less, but with more intention, to act less, but with more precision, to move through life without unnecessary friction. This does not make you passive, it makes you grounded. A quiet mind does not withdraw from life. It engages with it more clearly. And the more you return to this inner space, the more natural it becomes. Not something you search for, but something you carry with you. This is how silence turns into clarity, not as a sudden insight, but as a stable way of being. And once you experience that stability, you realize how much noise you were living with before. Before you move on, take one more quiet moment. Not to think, not to analyze, just to notice. Notice how your mind feels now compared to when this video began. Notice what has softened. Notice what no longer feels urgent. You don't need to carry everything at once. You don't need to respond to every thought. You are allowed to pause. If this moment of silence helped you, let it continue. Return to it throughout your day, even for a few seconds. And if you feel comfortable, share in the comments. What do you most need to create space from right now? Not to explain, just to recognize. Be prosperous from the inside out.